Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the downside.
It's a really bad start.
That was a terrible start. Russell and I took an early flight here, but we're here with three people who auditioned for the role of Uncle Crunchy, coming out soon on Jumpstart CBS. And which of us will get it? Which way are they gonna go?
I did not audition for that.
Neither did I.
No, I didn't either.
You didn't either?
No.
Oh, really? I didn't know you turned that one down.
Actually, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do.
You
Uncle
got
Crunchy.
Uncle Crunchy.
What is that?
He was a cop on a TV show.
On what TV show?
It's an audition.
No, I didn't.
I know you got this audition.
I swear to God.
I know
Russell,
for sure.
Sorry, this is sometimes when they're about to do a TV show, they'll send out opportunities to tape, and you can potentially get on the show.
I swear, I thought you had an audition for it. It's like a police officer in a sitcom.
No.
And I wrote back, I said, given all the tweets I've said about the police, I don't think it's right for me to audition
for a
this.
police officer recently, but his name wasn't Uncle Crunchy, I don't think.
Was his name just
Maybe it was, or
Crunchy?
just like, you just don't remember. I don't
Sure.
know.
I mean, he doesn't say his own name in any of the lines.
Are you guys responding and saying this is not? Are you responding and saying no when you don't tape?
I do.
Okay.
But not everyone does. For a voiceover, just let that shit slide.
If you don't get it from me, I don't say back ananymore. I just don't respond.
I like that. I think I'm going to start
I
doing that.
always tape everything, but I'm still like...
You're still pretty new.
Yeah. No, there's been, I think maybe one voiceover. There's definitely commercial stuff. Where
Voiceover feels like a lottery ticket. I'm done with voiceover. I'm not doing that. Not anymore. Not anymore.
I don't want to be in a children's cartoon anymore.
There's one voiceover went in and the line was like, "Hey," and I saw the list of signups, and there were 500 actors in New York City, and I said, "Just give it to the sound guy. Who gives a fuck?"
Truly.
Yeah.
My name's Gianmarco Soresi. I'm here with my co-host Russell Daniels.
Hi.
And we're so lucky to have a very rare return guest.
Second, the only person
because he never got to meet you.
Yeah.
And Caleb Hearon, welcome to the show.
This is so special. This is so special. You weren't here last time. You didn't want to hang out with me.
No, we
was in LA.
No, it was not.
Yes, it was.
Caleb, yes, it was.
No,
was.
babe.
It was in a studio in LA, Third Wheel
Oh,
Studios.
it was. And you know why
Yes.
I didn't feel like it was in LA is because it was in a big building.
Yes.
You had me go to a big building. And I thought we were in New York. In my head, I've always
I
imagined
see.
we did it in New York.
But we had a lovely time, and I'm so happy to have you. You're in New York for shows.
I'm in New York City, baby.
You were at the Bell House on Friday, Bell House tonight. How was the show on Friday?
Well, I killed, and that's always good.
That's always great.
No, I'm kidding. It was a fun show. The openers were super cool. The audience was fun. All that.
The Bell House is when it's sold out.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
It's great.
Fun. A woman came up to me afterwards who I had two funny interactions afterwards. One of them was there was a group of thin people waiting to talk to me. Brag.
Do you do separate lines at your shows?
I want to start because this big fat woman cut in front of all of them and said "fat privilege" and just cut them and started talking. And I was like, I would die for you. She was incredible. And then a thin woman came up to me and said, you should have a podcast. Have you ever thought about it? I thought she was a fan. I was like, oh, thank you. I mean, who knows? And she was like, I'm a podcasting agent. And Tova, my manager / your girlfriend, is sitting right there.
And his manager.
And your manager. And Tova's sitting right there and goes, oh. Oh. And so she was like trying to assign me to a podcast deal, I guess.
Wow.
However that works.
Damn.
Look.
If she's still looking, we are free on that front.
Is it a separate thing? This is what I don't understand.
Everyone's making it up as they go along. I just got with like a YouTube agency, and it's like one day the managers will realize how much money they're leaving on the table and learn how the internet works.
To take it back.
They'll be like, enough of these paper headshots on our desk. Let's try to update to the new century. We
had some interactions with people after our show, too.
We did. We had some fan. You do have a podcast, number one.
Used to.
Oh, that's done?
I stopped doing it a while ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've been checking my email every day for an invite.
Bring me on. No, I don't do one anymore.
I'm so glad you got to meet them. Like real fans.
Of the
fans.
pod.
Yeah. And who come up and go like, they've been listening since day one, which means hundreds of hours.
It was very touching. But also, if you are a fan, you can tell a nice story about being like it always the few I've met has been like, I have the worst job in the world. I hate it. I get paid no money, and the only thing that's preventing me from killing myself.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure, and it was really nice to meet those people. Yeah, and the one guy, it took a turn.
Careful, don't insult our 2 fans in Houston.
So you're getting real loose with the fans. These ugly fuckers at their dead-end jobs come up to me.
It took a turn in the show. We asked them to do to open up.
We did our This Has Got to Stop, and we opened up to the audience.
And we're like,
and this
anyone
person
got
said
This Gotta Stop?
British people.
He just said British people.
And Steph unwisely wanted more information, and he's, what do you mean? And she said, I want them to stop existing. And before we got into any genocidal ideas, we moved on. Fortunately,
well, he didn't say he wanted genocide.
Good fan. No, he didn't. It was implied.
He didn't want them to exist.
Well, he didn't say he wanted to make them stop existing. He said he just wishes they would.
Yeah,
I think that's okay. Yeah. There they go.
Russell, I turn on your light. But let me say, we were at the airport, so we flew. We travel. It's a new thing for us. And you made the mistake. You ordered a fancy coffee at the Starbucks.
I didn't order a fancy coffee. I ordered cold brew black.
Oh, that was it?
On mobile. That's it.
Oh, on mobile.
And well, because I thought it'd be quicker. It was a long line. So I had to leave it there.
He had to leave it. It was one of these where it was going to be 45 minutes for that coffee to come out.
The guy making the coffees, what are you doing?
I'm putting on your light. I just said it.
The guy making the coffees, I was there waiting probably 10 minutes. I saw him make, in a 10-minute span at a coffee shop, I saw him make one coffee in 10 minutes.
And he took a phone call.
I love him. Also, we got to get you into the lounge. Why are you out at the Starbucks?
Well, we're Delta. You're Delta. Yeah. Delta boy. We had to do United.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'm also a Delta guy.
Yeah. Delta isn't great for L.A. or to get to L.A. from New York.
No. I would do JetBlue if I was going straight.
Yeah, but they don't have lounges.
No, and I can't get in. I do have you're right. No lounge if you do that.
I have the American Express. I can go into the Centurion lounge. But that's not always in the same terminal.
One of the best things that's ever happened to me is that Kansas City just built a new airport. Their old airport was horrible. I'm there all the time, obviously. And the only lounge they have. They never had one before, no lounge. Now they have one lounge, and it's Delta, which is my place. So I'm feeling really powerful.
That's great.
Yeah.
Though I've been flying a lot, and that Delta lounge, it loses its lust. Every breakfast is the same.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just really the opportunity to sit somewhere a little quieter than the rest of the place. That's all.
Yeah. Well, then I thought Gianmarco was doing a bit.
Oh my God!
I was like, I'll go ahead. I'm leaving this coffee. It's not happening today. So I'll go ahead to the gate just to make sure we're not going to miss this plane.
Yeah.
He's waiting for coffee still. And so I get to the gate, and he comes comedically running, sprinting past me. And I was like, oh, he's doing a
with
bit.
a coffee, with a fresh coffee.
Big, broad bit at 6:30 in the morning. But I was like, okay, well, cool,
he's
man.
on, yeah.
He's on. He's going for it. He's sprinting. And then I see him keep going, and I was like, oh, maybe it's not a bit. Maybe that's just him genuinely running, not knowing.
I thought it was E20. It was E12. And Russell texts me Russell doesn't say stop.
I thought he was doing a bit. So I was like, but then you were too far, and I'm not going to scream in the airport. So you were too far.
It was very far away. It was not close.
No, you ran.
And then I looked at my phone when I got to E20, and you said...
I got in line to get on the plane.
I just
and
passed
be like, well, you'll figure it out, or
he won't come. I'll go perform for our sweaty, disgusting, sloppy fucking fans in Houston by myself, Russell says. These nasty, poor pigs.
No, we love our fans.
This is The Downside.
1, 2, 3. Downside. You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.
But it was a good trip overall.
Yeah.
It was our first time doing this.
Doing it in a different city. Yeah, it was
doing
good.
it in a different city.
Yeah,
That's
I
fucking
thought
cool.
no one was going to come, and I was pleasantly surprised.
I was pushing so hard.
Yeah.
And we got 18 people. It was a first time of a festival.
No, there was like 25 or so. I counted it.
It was good.
And
good.
the room only fit 30 people.
But this had first festival vibes. Like you got there, they're like, "Hey, here's your backpack. We're all out of food and drink tickets. We've been cut off by the bar." Like it was everything that could have been that you had to be on the first day to get it.
But guess what? This is the best part about the trip is I check in. I'm not on the poster. It doesn't even say the downside. I'm just there. But Gianmarco sweetly's arranged that I'm going to have a hotel room.
Blah,
blah. So I check in. They have somehow given me the presidential
like a corner office view of Houston.
Sprawling. 2 rooms, like a living room, a full kitchen.
Shut up.
All windows facing Houston. And like we were talking to headliners at the festival that had to share a room somehow. And I was like, I had the literal presidential suite in this hotel.
And you're on one 3 p.m. show for 18 people.
I love that. I'm very picky about travel.
Yeah.
I will pay money of my own. I'm doing Philly after this in like 2 days, and they tried to put me up at a Sonesta.
Oh.
And I said no, I won't be doing it. I'll pay for my own hotel room. I don't like the comedy when they try to give you a little apartment.
Yeah,
I say,
comedy condo.
I say no. No. I'll be going to a nice hotel.
I'm going back to one in Lowell, Arkansas, and it's a condo, no Wi-Fi. And the owner says to you, come on. The owner says, hey, if you need Wi-Fi, just call me. I'm a mile down the road. I'll pick you up. And I'm like, I'm going to call you, be like, hey, can I jerk off real quick at your place for 4 minutes? Please pick me up. I like to get one in before a show. And there were ants. And I'm going back in a couple months.
Why?
I don't know. Because it's interesting to perform in Lowell. Everyone there disagrees with me.
There's no other places in Arkansas that you could have an experience?
Name one other city in Arkansas other than Arkansas City. Which I think is real.
Fayetteville,
Little Rock.
Okay. You're right. There's more. There's a loony bin in Little Rock. You're right. There's more cities in this state. I was incorrect. I was hoping you'd be as uneducated as me. You just bought a house.
Yeah. I bought a house.
In Kansas City. This is where you grew up.
No, I wish. I grew up like an hour and a half outside of Kansas City, but all my people have kind of migrated over towards the city since then. So,
tell me about Kansas City. I'm going there soon. There's the Kansas City Comedy Club.
Yeah, you're going in August, 17th through the 19th, I think.
Oh, yes.
Something like that.
I know. I hire you to keep track of my calendar for some extra cash. That's how you can afford the house.
Yeah, that's how I buy the houses, of which I have many. Kansas City's fucking great, dude. I love it. You guys are more than welcome to come stay with me anytime at the place. Do the club. And also there's like a bunch of cool DIY venues. So if you can sprinkle in some, I don't know what their other, maybe you can't promote it, but lots of fun shows, great food, good barbecue, nice people, wide streets, tall trees.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's a great place.
Yeah.
And so you bought a house because you're going there enough to, but what made you buy a house? That's a big move.
Well, they're in Kansas City, they're very cheap. And so it's like insanely cheap to buy one. I would say 1/20,000th of the cost in LA. And also my goal long term is just to be there. Like I don't really want to be in LA or New York. I want to be in Kansas City. So for now I'm back every other month or so when I can be. So my plan is to keep a rental in LA and then be in Kansas City when I don't have to be somewhere for work.
That's great.
Yeah. See my family, my friends. It's nice.
What were you looking for in a house? Like what were you care about hotels. You must care about your home.
Yeah. Well, I was approved for a certain amount that was more than I wanted to pay. So I was looking for something that was quite a bit under my budget so that I could make it aesthetically how I want and just use the money I would have spent on the loan to like furnish it and stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah, looking for something that was like updated, but not like, you know how everything they renovate now has those shitty gray wood floors and those awful, like everything is awful and the same.
Gray, white,
horrible.
Yeah.
So I didn't want that and wanted a hardwood floors, which I have, and wanted like a big backyard. And that's it. And I found it.
Hell yeah.
Do you ever want a house?
Yeah. But
here?
No, I don't want to. I'll always rent in New York. I would never, it doesn't make sense to buy here.
Tova talks about a brownstone. Tova fantasizes about a New York brownstone for sure.
I want to own a small apartment in New Orleans.
Love.
That's what I want. And similar, I want to go like a few times, 3-4 times a year.
Russell's a New Orleans boy.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's the spot.
Do you go back often now at all?
I only go once a year.
Yeah.
Usually, once or twice a year. So not enough, but I think it feels like there's going to be a time where I'm saving towards it, and it'll be much easier to do that. I just feel like if I invest in something there and have it there, I feel like I want to split my time more than I am right now.
It's very peaceful. I get a lot of writing done also when I'm home. Like I started going home more when my dad died, and really continued doing that just because I was like, oh, I'm getting a lot of writing done. I also feel very like much more relaxed. I don't feel like I don't feel the pressure to like go out every night or do something the way I do in LA or New York, because all my friends there are just like, you know, chilling.
Yeah.
So I think it's nice. I think New Orleans would be a similar thing. Nice, just like have your little spots and like hang out.
Yeah.
And Tova grew up there. I'm trying to get a show in New Orleans. It's tough because they have music.
They don't really do comedy.
They have music, so like, why would we do this?
There's a little bit of a comedy thing, I think, but not.
There's one big theater there, and it was owned by someone who sexually assaulted someone. So I made the decision to not.
Well, and
do
you
it.
don't want to go there because you want to be able to sexually assault people.
Yeah.
They'll be on my case. They'll be looking.
Well, you don't want him sexually assaulting everybody. That's your gig. I don't know if your fans know that or not.
It's the first time normally I don't like it when the guest wants to cut something out, but this will be the first time I'll be like, you know what? Can we cut this part out? I'm trying to get a show there, and Tova's told me that we don't have to book a show just to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And
just go. I go every year. Just come with me the next time I go.
Would we? That feels like you and your wife's like
I
special
have friends
time
all the time. I invite everyone.
Oh, okay. Fuck it, I'll go.
Oh, you have lots of free weekends. I'm just saying, like, I'm gonna not next year, the year after, I'm gonna do a big Mardi Gras. I'm gonna go for the full 8 days.
You could drink the whole time. We did his bachelor party there, and I had absinthe. Is that what it's called? Not absinthe. No. Everclear. You know that liquor? It's like super. Like it was a drink, and halfway through the drink, it was like I had
I've
taken
never
shrooms.
seen you that drunk.
I fell asleep on the floor.
Yeah.
I was sick for days.
Yeah.
Everclear is like 1,000 proof.
Yeah,
It's so
yes.
intense.
And my sister, she took Everclear once in college at a concert, and she got brought to the hospital.
Yeah.
And she was so wasted, she thought she was still at the concert at the hospital.
You don't take
Which sounds
Everclear,
funny.
it's just a drink.
Yeah,
Just drink
she
it.
was shooting up
Shoot it
Everclear
up. She was dipping her tampon
She
in
was
it, doing the
tying
whole
off.
thing.
and shooting up Everclear.
So, how's this touring going? You're really doing the thing.
I am doing live stand-up comedy. This is true.
Are you enjoying it?
How long is
No,
tour?
it's great. I think it's a wonderful
You're
thing.
being so
No, it's so
cool.
exciting.
You're so like curled up in your little corner over there. What'd you say, Russell?
How long is the tour? Like, how many cities you hit it in?
New York, Philly, Pittsburgh, a college date in Vermont, and then Toronto.
Nice.
What's the name of the tour?
Glorifying Obesity Tour.
Love it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I wish I would have. I am gonna just do another one and call it the same thing because I was as soon as I put it out, I was like, stupid. I wasted this on
Sure.
5
I know
little
what you mean.
cities. I'm gonna do a longer version. I think
Yeah.
my relationship with stand up is very weird, which is what I think you want to talk about.
Sure. I'd love to.
I think that's why you're all curled up in the corner.
Yeah.
No, you're so good at it. You're a rare like visitor of stand up, or you do it on and off, but you're very good.
Thanks,
you know
dude.
how to pick and choose well.
Thank you. I like it a lot as I view it as a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fun to do, but I don't think I don't know. My relationship to stand up is evolving. Maybe I will do a special or something. Maybe I want to do like a longer tour. I'm having fun with it right now, but I don't know. I don't want to. I don't know. Something about it feels very like I don't want to make it work because it's so fun the way I do it right now. And everything else that I like that has become work has gotten a little like tedious.
Yeah.
And I'm also a little uncomfortable with. You will not believe this, but I'm a little uncomfortable with the attention. Not on stage.
Which part? Okay, after.
After, and also just like the begging for the ticket sales and being like, oh, please come out to the show. There's something about it to me that feels very like, I don't know. It makes me a little uncomfortable.
And it gets like, you can only make it funny for so long. Like you had funny ones about your Philly show. You're just like, I'm gonna threaten people.
Well, yeah, and then at some point it's like, buy the tickets.
But that's the thing. It's like at some point, it's like every weekend, and you have to promote it wide for Louisville. If you're a fan of mine who lives in South Korea, you've had a horrible year with me on social media. I keep telling you to come to shows that you've never even been to the place.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just like it's not fun. It's not entertaining.
Yeah.
It's a lot of begging, and you can dress it up all you want, but you're just asking people to spend money on you.
Yeah, and then you add like we slowly sold out the first Philly show and
Your version of slowly is
okay.
Yeah, but sure.
Slower than the other places on the tour. And I was like, we shouldn't add a second one because I don't like posting about shows. I hate trying to be cute about it. I hate trying to be like, oh, if you guys came out, I guess I'd do some jokes. It's like, shut up. I hate it. But then we add one and it's still not sold out. It's like in 2 days from now. And then I'm like, oh God, like, are people I still have a good time if the room's not, I mean, the room will be, I don't know. I'm a little out of my mind is the truth of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun.
I'm trying to get Russell to do.
No,
he's more of a characters guy.
Yeah,
No,
but
also,
I want characters to be part of the stand. I want to bring characters back into the stand-up world. I want Russell to go up there and be like, okay,
I don't
now
even feel like I'm a characters guy. I feel like I did sketch comedy, and sometimes I have to do characters for other things. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like it's not like I'm not home. Like
I would take you on the road
walking
and say
around naturally
Russell's-
creating characters that I'm like dying to do a 7-minute character set in front of people in
You're like,
Kentucky.
hey, Gianmarco, is this funny?
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
I'm not. Yeah.
No, I just bring you on stage and be like, Russell's going to open with his New Faces audition from 3 years ago.
From 3 years ago.
I don't want to see you do stand up with characters in it.
No.
I'll say. I think Gianmarco's.
No one does. No one likes
Why?
those
That's
sets.
how it used to be. Jim Carrey used to do stand-up. And
No
he
one
wasn't doing
likes it.
stand-up.
I
He
don't
was
like
like,
it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it when they show me those old videos. I don't like it. I don't like it. I hate going to those showcases and watching everyone.
but that's why it won't be a showcase. It'll be a variety.
But it is. I'm not doing a one-man show. I would be doing a 7-minute set of like 3 to 4 characters that are like all little thing and like it's just I
You
hate
undermine your own art form so intensely.
No, I like sketch comedy. I like that. I just don't like the character set.
You want him to go out and do a Robin Williams set. Mm-hmm. I said like just like 17 of those fucking
exhausting.
things in a row.
No offense to Robin Williams, but it's like
I was never a fan. It was impressive to watch.
Yeah,
But it was too much for me.
Sure, yeah, it was a feat, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was a joke thief. A little
Was
bit.
he?
Did he steal?
Oh yeah. He was like apparently there was one comedy club where they had a special light in the back of the room to let the comedian on stage know that he had entered the building, and then he would not do their A material because then he would go on Carson and just like drop it into the thing or whatever.
Oh,
and that was the time where if you
Bummer.
accused him, they'd be like, well, he made it better, and it'd be like, well.
yeah.
And he said he was like a sponge. I think that's what he said. Told Mark Maron, like, I'm a sponge. I just absorb everything. And it's like, that's cool.
I would love to do. There's no fat gay comedian, so I would love to, but there's no one to steal from. I would love to steal somebody's joke about.
Well, that's why I want Russell to do stand-up comedy.
Come on, Russell. Russell, get out there. Do some stuff about the buffet line.
Do you know John Panay? He was like a fat comedian from the 90s who his closer was about a Chinese buffet.
Oh,
and
I
he
know
was
him,
and he was
yeah.
a killer, but it always ended in a long Chinese accent bit.
Oh no.
Every album
And
ends
he was
with him
Chinese,
doing,
I guess. So he was a
Not
Chinese
even
man,
at
I'm
all.
guessing. Yeah. Okay.
and just like brutal, just like Free Willy is a mean movie title if you have a China, and then he would say Free Willy for 3 minutes.
Oh my
And it
God.
would murder, crush. But his whole discography is pretty much unlistenable now, and he was great. Taken too soon. So you got a tattoo? Is that new?
Yeah, this is new.
The whole thing?
Well, that's 2 separate ones. This one's a little older, but this one's like 2 or 3 weeks old.
Is that related to being a mama's boy, having those flowers?
Well, I found this tattoo artist who does cool flowers in LA. Her name's Stabs and Scabs, free promo. And I messaged her and was like, hey, I want something from you. And she was like, well, I can get you in whenever. And she was like, do you have any ideas? I was like, she does really cool florals. And I was like, the state flower of Missouri is a dogwood if you want an inspiration, but I don't care. And she uses like old botanical textbooks for her references. And she was like, there's a dogwood I've been wanting to do for a long time and no one has asked for one. So I'll give you that. And then she drew me this.
Did you do it in one sitting?
Yeah, it was about 3.5 hours, I think.
Did it hurt?
This one? There were definitely parts where I was like, I'd really like to move on. I'd like to be done with the tattoo now. But it's not that bad. I thought it was fine. Uh-huh. Do you have any?
Oh yeah, I have one. It's the first letter of an ex-girlfriend's name from way back in the day.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Tova would love for me to get deep into that tattoo.
Cool.
On
Good.
the podcast.
What's the letter?
It's an L.
You could do something with that.
Sure.
Like love Tova or something.
But that's kind of like giving like an old engagement ring, like from the first engagement to the second person. I mean, like I added a jewel. It's like, well,
I think it's fine. I'll talk to Tova about it.
I think Tova would rather me skin it off with a bare knife.
Grate it off with a cheese grater. Do you have any?
No.
No desire.
I want us to get an
No,
Uncle
it doesn't-
Function
it
one for a
doesn't,
sketch team.
It doesn't. Yeah, I have no kind of impulse to do it. No sort of thing. Yeah.
Are you like? Is it?
I have no like problem. Like I'm not like. I have no.
I'm not a pansy. I would take the pain.
I could take the pain. No, I just no sort of desire to do it. I don't know. I've never seen something where I'm like, I need that on me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that.
But I'm open to it.
Now, mama's
it
boy
can
though. That's how close you are with your mom. You got.
Yeah.
Like, was your mom like, aw?
Yeah, my mom loved it.
Really?
Yeah, she loved it. She was like, "That's so sweet." I wanted something for her, but I didn't want to get her name. And I thought about getting like the classic like heart mom tattoo because I think those look cool still.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I want to do something of my own.
Yeah.
You know?
That's nice.
Yeah. So she loved it. Other people's parents hate tattoos. My mom has like 6, I think.
I wonder if I'd get one for my mom. I don't know if she'd like it or not. I
would
can't
it
tell
be
what she
of?
likes anymore. What would it be? It would be like, at least we're friends now.
Mom.
Oh, well, don't do something so sappy.
No, I think she'd like a little cynical edge to it, I think. I thought she was getting married the other day, and now she's left the guy, and she's dating. It's chaos.
Your mom dates a lot. Is that
Yeah, she's dating, and it's like you see dating at that age, like instead of like a certain thing that like people aren't upfront about are their medical conditions.
Oh no.
The dates are just like intense because if you like each other, some of these guys are so rich, they're like, let's go house shopping. Like that's their version of
She's got a good looking mom.
Oh.
yeah.
She's good looking.
No, she's good looking.
Yeah.
No, sure. That's why these guys keep putting up with her.
I don't know if the camera's capturing it right now, but Russell is bricked the fuck up right now. Russell has one of the biggest boners I've ever seen. And he keeps licking his lips when he talks about Gianmarco's mom. He's like, she's stacked like a fucking bookshelf. He kept saying it off mic before we started, too. He was like, humming, Gianmarco's mom.
He was like, yo, look at this picture. Who's that? That's the tattoo you're going to get is from my mom. You're going to tell your mom, this is not for you. This is for Gianmarco's mother. But yeah, it was just one of those classic where she was like, I think I'm marrying someone. And I was like, can I meet him? I had to have that conversation with my mom where I was like, I'd like to meet him
Did
first.
you know his name?
Yeah.
Okay. You've not met him though, or
No, they came to a show.
Oh, okay.
So they came to a show in San Diego. They flew there. He brought me to an amazing dinner. I said, okay, fine. You can marry him.
yeah.
He has my blessing. But you should get my blessing. She was going to marry him without me meeting him. Or she said, I met him once like 3 years ago. And I'm like, that's not enough.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, a week later, she's like, nah, that's off.
Why should he have to meet you? He needs your blessing, you think?
No, my mother needs my blessing.
Your mother needs it.
My mother needs my blessing.
To be given
if
away.
I married
Why?
someone and I never even introduced her to my mom would be right to be like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. It's kind of fucked up. You're not even going to let me meet the person. She doesn't have to get my approval.
Yeah.
But I'd like the courtesy of meeting my new stepdad. Yes.
You ever heard of Oedipus Rex? Mm-hmm. Maybe you have like an Oedipal thing going on with your mom.
When you have divorced parents, you can't help but
Want to
excuse
fuck
it.
them.
Russell's like, if she was my mom, I'll tell you one thing.
That was one of my favorite tweets. Is like, what you have to understand is Sigmund Freud's mom was really hot.
She was drop dead gorgeous.
I've always thought, because there was this, Freud said you want to kill the father, have sex with the mom, and that's why I think I hated my stepdad so much, because instead of having to kill your dad, you just have to kill like some guy,
Some dude, yeah.
some dude,
Yeah.
And your stepmom, that's allowed. That's on Pornhub all the time.
You can sleep with her, yeah. No worries.
Except she's my sister's mom, so that's kind of fucked up. half sister.
Yeah.
Well, if you kind of block that out mentally, then you're all good. You're in the clear.
When I was first starting stand-up, I think I told you this once, my stepfather saw me do a show with 6 people in the audience. And for some reason, I was like, let's do this joke in front of him. And I was like, the only downside of having half siblings is fucking them is only half as fun.
Christ.
Why? Why do it?
I don't know.
Why write it to begin with?
In bigger rooms, did it work? Like, what? Why?
Because no one likes incest jokes. It's really tough. It makes people very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think when you have like divorce and there's like your parents are dating and you have halves and steps, like it's funny. You just you have to deal with people, your mom and stepdad having sex, my dad having sex with all these different women. I just feel like sex is part of the conversation, and so it's just funny. I don't know. I find it funny.
Yeah, I see that for you. Being an incest comedian.
Listen,
you guys ever fuck your brother? That kind of thing for you.
When I got rid, so I said. This was true. I was dating someone once, and in the middle of the night, I must have had a sex dream, and she had a sex dream. I woke up mid, and we were having sex, but I like transitioned from the sex dream to waking up and be like, oh my God, I'm having sex. And so I get nervous if I share a bed with someone who's not my partner, that like, who knows, I'll have a sex dream, try to fuck them. And so the joke is basically I was sharing a bed with my mom in LA. We had to share the bed.
Yeah.
And I assume my brain would know I'm in bed with my mom. But just in case, to be safe, before I went to sleep, I put on a condom because I'm a mama's boy, and it was a reference to your tattoo.
With me, I'll tell you that right now. It's different with me. I would never jump through the hoops you're jumping through to imagine having sex with my mom. You're doing so much mental work to get to a place where maybe you're having sex with your mom. Also, what you're describing, the idea that you sleep in bed with someone and accidentally fuck them is like what I was banking on all of high school.
Oh, yeah?
Every time I slept with a guy friend at like a sleepover that I thought was cute, I was like, maybe he'll get confused. I was like, maybe, he'll have a weird dream and we'll end up. Who knows? Banking on it, hoping like it was science. I was like, oh, I hope.
Were you sharing a bed often with like?
Yeah.
Really? In high school?
Yeah, you share a bed. You stay over at someone's house and there's like 4 or 5 of you. You have to share a bed or like share the pull-out couch, or you go to like a conference or something, or like go away for a.
I just can't imagine. I feel like
you weren't sharing beds with guys.
No, I mean I'd be on the couch, they'd be on the floor, but
when you were like young and you were like go away, like in college, like you'd get 4 guys who get 2 rooms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or sorry, 2 beds.
Yeah, you know what I did once? I went on a 2-day cruise with some high school friends, and I shared a bed with some guy.
Yeah.
Remarkable that didn't end up in sex.
Yeah.
A 2-day cruise with a guy? Anybody could be gay for that.
It was just me and him. It was a gay cruise, actually. We
didn't know until we got there.
We made it. We made it a gay cruise.
There was we forced gayness onto the cruise. I remember one time we went to like an FFA, the Future Farmers of America. Do you know this?
No.
It's massive. Most people listening will know what it is, I think. If you have any you're disgusting Houston fans that you loathe so much, they'll know what it is.
God, no.
I'm kidding. They love their fans.
They're going to listen. They're listeners. He's listening to it at his job where he said he's making $10 an hour.
And I'm so happy that he was.
I'm a fan personally.
What?
Yeah, no, he's great.
Yeah.
So the FFA, Future Farmers of America.
We were going to a conference. You would go and like they'd tell you how to judge cattle or whatever, and we were on the bus about to go into the hotel, and guys shared rooms with guys and girls shared rooms with girls. Really encouraging homosexuality. And our old teacher that was in charge of us, his name was Wes. He stood up and he was so ancient. He stood up at the front of the bus and said, "All right, ladies, tune out. This one's for the boys. Boys, you're going to be sharing beds. And I just want you to remember that," and he's not kidding. He's being earnestly like giving us advice. "I just want you to remember this. Poles to poles isn't gay. Holes to holes isn't gay. Pole to hole is gay. Let's go." And that was like the only thing he said to us before this conference was, don't sleep with your dick to someone else's butt, because that's gay. You can look at each other. You can face away from each other. You cannot.
So he didn't know about docking.
No. And he didn't know about the intimacy of looking into another man's eyes. He didn't know how beautiful that could also be. He missed out on a lot of stuff.
That is, I think it's all.
There's something really stressful about going, thinking back at those trips with those teachers on a going away trip. Man, it's just like I can't imagine going away with kids, and it's just like I think
Because they're going to be fucking. Someone's doing
stuff
something
going on, and
that was the best part of summer camp. Was just like we had the girls' floor and the boys' floor.
Yeah.
And this was at musical theater camp, so it really was. It really was a joke.
Yeah.
But it was so exciting. I mean, the one or two times where like me and someone we'd sneak to a room, and you'd find it empty at the big northwestern dorm room. I'm thinking of one very particular. It was very fun.
Yeah.
But if we slept in the same bed, we'd do hole to hole. I assume we wouldn't do pole to pole.
No, hold a hole probably, but I don't care. Like I move when I'm sleeping.
Sure.
I can't promise I'm gonna stay hole to hole the whole time. You
guys might end up gazing into each other's eyes.
Is that your pole, Russell? Get the pole the other end. You make that east pole, west pole right now.
Well, you guys might end up looking at each other in the eyes, and you might discover something
Just
about
talking.
yourselves, and that's the scariest thing of all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a guy like Wes.
Yeah.
Do you
How old do you think Wes is still alive?
Oh, probably. Those kind of country Missouri guys live forever.
Did you want to be a farmer at this time?
No. I did a couple of things. It was like you had to take the class. You had to take an agriculture class, and it was like a leadership thing. Like where I'm from, you could get a lot of like scholarships and stuff through those things.
Interesting.
Even if you weren't going to study agriculture, and they had a public speaking portion of it, and I did that. And then I did like some of the other things they just threw me in on. Like I did like livestock judging and soils judging.
What livestock did you judge?
Cattle, mostly.
And what are you looking for?
Oh, if the top of their back, the way that it slopes, if it has a flat line, or if it dips this way.
But is that based on how they raised it, or just the genetics of the cow?
Well, it's based on a lot of things. It depends on the type of cow you're looking at. If you're looking at a Hereford, or if you're looking at there's like 20 of them. But whatever kind of cow you're looking at, you want to look at it from behind and see like if its legs are sickled or if they're straight up and down. You want the distance between their stomach and the ground to be a certain height depending on what kind of cow you're looking at. And someone who knows this better than me might be watching and be like, "You're messing it up," because I forget a lot. But there's a number of things you look at for different cows to see if they're quality like meat and quality like dairy.
So it's about them being eaten at the end of the day.
It's about well,
It's not like, are they happy?
No, it's not about their quality of life. In Missouri, the cows are not taken care of in that way.
Have you had unpasteurized milk?
No.
I really want to try it.
Why?
Because it just sounds like it's one of those things that people get sick from it a lot, but they still do it. I'm like, it must be good. My dream, I've always wanted to have a bowl of cereal, go to a farm, and milk right into the cereal.
It would be disgusting.
It would be so gross.
Yeah.
Why?
It would
What do you
be
mean,
warm,
why?
first of all.
Yeah, it's in their body.
It would be warm.
Okay.
Also, a lot of times when the cleaning process that happens after you milk a cow, the reason that it's pasteurized and cleans is because sometimes pus and blood and things come out with it. It's a really gross
keep
product.
your dream though, Gianmarco.
Yeah, go suck on a cow's teeth as soon as you can. But
You must be able to suck a teat. Would you suck a cow teat?
Gianmarco. Yeah, you can suck a teat.
you
But I'm
must be
just-
able to. It's like, yeah, of
must
course you
be able
can.
to. Like, no, there's not police stopping you from doing it. I'm saying
There might be
in some
certain
states.
in some
Yeah.
states, I guess. But I'm saying like you can do it, but I don't know why you would want to.
I just feel like it's best from the source. Do you want the water fresh from the creek, or after it's through the fucking Dasani factory?
Dasani factory.
I want it from a glass fridge where I can see into the fridge. Yeah.
So okay, that pole. Do you remember? Did you try doing a little pole to hole in that?
Not on those trips. Those guys were. I did sleep with guys in high school who, I did mess around in high school, and there was some experimenting going on. For other people, it was experimenting. For me, I was like, I know I'm like this.
Were you out to the high school?
No.
No.
None of us were gay at the time. It was just like, we're like 16.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't come out until college.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder what it's like now. Whether people are out more. I just remember like my good friend in high school, like who was just clearly in a way where it almost felt silly.
Yeah.
It felt silly to hear him talk about women. And now he's out. But I just wonder if more people are out now. But I don't know. Everything feels backwards right now. Doesn't feel good.
No, and it's you have to remember too those parts of the country like rural Missouri are so literally far behind on everything.
Yeah.
On like fashion and politics and trends and things. Like they're just now starting to get like there are just now a few more parents out there who would be like, if my kid was gay, I could handle it. But trans, forget it. You know, it's like they're so far back on all that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I remember there was a guy that I was a friend of mine who's still a friend of mine to this day, who he and I had been kind of hooking up in high school, and we were out to each other as like we're actually gay. This is like we are into each other, and he wanted for us to come out together, and I was like, no, I'm not coming out in this town, and but I really thought about it because I was like, oh, maybe I could date this guy and I could just like have a boyfriend, you know, and another kid in our town came out right around then, and people were so mean to him, and I was like, dodged a bullet. Glad it was you. No, it couldn't be me. And then I was like, never. So I did never come out until I left.
Do you remember that kid that came out? Was it like a Facebook post come out? Was it just told people, spread the word?
I think he just told everybody. And there was another thing where it was very obvious with him. Like it was like he said it and everyone was like, for sure, but why tell us? Like what, you know, it was people knew it and only made fun of him once he confirmed it. You know what I'm saying? Like really went in on it then. But yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I want to chill.
I remember, I don't know if I've told it on this, but it was in acting class, guys would come out. I've seen it a couple times, and it was like this kid from some Midwest place. He was like 16. He was doing a romantic scene with this woman, and like started crying in the middle of it.
Oh fuck!
And the teacher, who was the perfect kind of teacher. It was a great New York acting teacher, but he was like, "What's wrong?" And he was like, he started crying. He said, "I think I might be gay." And then the teacher was like, "Okay, just do the scene again." And the teacher said, "Do you like watermelon?" And the kid was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Okay, do the scene again, and instead of a woman, just pretend she's a watermelon." And that was his acting lesson.
It's a great acting
teacher. It's called substitution. And then I remember the next year on Facebook, it came up, so-and-so is in a relationship with Whitney. And I was like, wow, he went back home and stayed back in and got a girlfriend.
Oh, that'll happen.
And I knew a lot. I also knew a lot of women at the musical theater where they dated someone, they fell in love, their first boyfriend, and he ended up coming out of the closet. And even if they were smart enough to know they didn't make him gay, something about it fucked with them. They loved someone who who didn't want them. It was some very unique kind of breakup.
Yeah. There are definitely guys that either I hooked up with in Missouri or friends of mine hooked up with that I'm like, you are straight, you were bored, you tried something out. I don't think you're gay. There are other guys who I hooked up with or my friends of mine hooked up with, because all the gay kids in a place like rural Missouri, all the towns around, we all kind of find each other. And there were guys that are still in the closet, have wives and kids, or that I went to college with, that I'm like, it's different with you. You're definitely gay and in the closet. There's something else about it where like the type of sex you were having, the things about you, where I'm like, you are actually living a lie versus like people who are just experimenting. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a different thing, and you can feel it. And it's really, really sad to me, the guys that are like for sure gay and just like having babies and a wife.
Do you think there's any possibility that the wife knows and this is they love each other and they're partners? And do you think sometimes these people know? Sometimes it's like you think the wife doesn't know.
Oh, I think they know spiritually, but I don't think it's an arrangement.
Sure.
I think they can feel that their husband doesn't like having sex with them for sure. But I don't think it's like, let's just do this. I don't think it's like an arrangement.
There was a summer camp I went to where the two heads of the camp, like they were convinced that he was gay and she was a lesbian, and they had 2 kids together. And
that's what I want. That's actually powerful. I want that.
Yeah,
I want to marry a lesbian. I want to marry a lesbian. Any of the ones I'm close with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Start having kids pretty like in the next year or 2. And then have like 3 or 4 kids together, and then we just fuck other people. And but at home, it's just bliss.
I mean, you could do that.
I'm trying. None of the lesbians will do it.
Do you really want kids?
Badly.
Really?
Oh yeah, I want kids more than
soon.
anything. Not maybe too soon. I don't know that I'm quite ready yet because I do like going and doing my own thing all the time.
Yeah.
But I want to be a parent more than I think I want to do.
Do you know
comedy.
anyone with that arrangement?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I mean, obviously, a lot of gay men give sperm to lesbian couples. That's
Of course.
That's a massive thing. But no, I just want to me and my lesbian raise a couple kids together and hang out at home.
Would you do artificial insemination?
For sure.
For sure.
This is a big fight that Holmes and I have gotten into because Holmes is like, maybe someday, and if we do it, you have to have sex with me. And I'm like, I'd rather not do it. I don't want to have sex with you.
Really? That's the deal breaker?
I'm not having sex with you.
Because she just wants that one part to be.
She thinks it's offensive that I would send her to the doctor when we could just save the money and do it OG. And I'm like, but I'm not. I can't. Having sex, I don't like it. I don't want to do it.
That's very funny.
I would let her do it. I'll give you the stuff, and if you want to, tinker around at home and figure it out,
You would just.
I'll give her the cum,
Sure.
and she can, put it in there.
Would you stay in the room if she said, well, at least be in the room?
Yeah, if that does something for her, I'd be like, go, baby, go. Come on, honey, get it in. I'll even put on a little show. But I'm not fucking girls again. It wasn't for me.
When did you had sex with a woman?
I slept with girls in high school.
And none of it was good. None of it was fun.
It was fun. It really wasn't. It was. I really liked them, but I was like, I really wish this was a guy. Very, your classic gay thing of like wishing you were having sex with a man. I was just like,
Just doggy style right out the gate.
just straight up, just like you lower your voice, lower register. Come on, like Forrest Gump.
Who was the DJ recently? You tweeted about was it Diplo? Diplo, he was like, yeah, I've gotten blowjobs from guys, but if you don't make eye contact, it's not gay.
I didn't tweet about Diplo, but I know what you're talking about.
You tweet. It felt like a subtweet, just as like this weird thing of like, yeah, I'm not gay, but I've had blowjobs from men.
Yeah, this whole thing of celebrities now coming out as nothing. I'm so sick of it.
Yeah.
The wisdom now, I think, is that being queer is profitable.
Yes.
And so I'm not queer, but I'm something. And people will ask them like, oh, what are you? Who do you date? What is your thing? And they'll be like, that's none of your business, but let's just say I'm open-minded kind of vibe. And it's like, yeah, I get that that's technically progressive, but we've got a lot of shit going on right now, and we kind of need the star power and the camaraderie and the like. I think it's boring to be like, they don't have to tell anyone. It's like, of course they don't, but they should want to.
Sure.
And you're not. I don't think you should get to be part of the community if you're in the closet. Closeted people are not part of the queer community, in my opinion. We're ready for you when you're ready to come out, but I don't. There's this weird propensity to be like, oh, when the conversation comes up of should straight actors play gay people, right? I personally don't give a fuck. But people who criticize it will often be met with, well, you don't know if they're in the closet. And it's like,
Sure.
Right, and I don't give a fuck.
It doesn't. That's not
What does
part
that
of
matter
this.
to me?
Yeah.
We're a part of a community based on interests and being out, and there's political power in that. And it's like being like someone who doesn't crochet joining the knitting circle or whatever the fuck. It's like, come and do it, and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
You can't just sit here.
Do you think for, especially with men, I feel like there's way more bisexual men in the world that are identifying as bisexual, because I think in general, when a man says they're bi, people go, you're gay. That's I think, if you're a celebrity, that's certainly what people are gonna lobby. But you think saying I'm bisexual as opposed to I'm open, I'm whatever, is the bisexual label powerful?
I'll take anything.
Yeah.
Bisexual, poly. Even if you just want to call yourself queer, I'm not saying you have to out yourself in this very specific way or tell people how you have sex. You don't have to be prescriptive about it. Just queer is fine. Queer is an umbrella. Like,
Sure.
Come, just be in it with us. Because the problem is there are like queer people being rounded up around the world, right? And like it's getting very bad in the United States for queer people right now. Not to be heavy, but like, so what it feels like to me is you want to cash in on the cultural cachet of being queer right now and get cast in these queer roles and be in these queer scenes and be considered queer. And then the second that shit goes south for us and it stops just being trans people, because it will turn to the rest of us.
Of course.
And it's a problem before that, but just so all the cis gay people who don't care know, it will come for us too again. Then you're just going to be like, out of it. You're just going to kind of skate out and be untouched because you never said it officially.
I had a friend recently. I was very bothered by it, where they were like, they saw whatever of one video of a drag queen with holding hands with a little girl. I was like, why are the kids always there? And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Don't.
Shut the fuck up. Stop taking this bait.
Why?
Stop taking this fucking bait. There's just a myriad of reasons. But I saw how the propaganda had worked with someone who I consider, who is, in terms of America, liberal, who saw one image of something and went, that's a little much. And now that's become their opinion on the whole fucking spectrum. And it's very frustrating to see the propaganda work on friends, in their 30s and their 40s. And I think, I just told, I'm not a very good, wasn't very persuasive. I was just said, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. What is this conversation?
Who was it?
It was Russell.
I made it very vague.
You're hearing Russell out right now. Russell's like, yeah, who would do that?
Who would do that?
Russell and I absolutely have friends who are liberal, again, in the span of America, where they fall for some of these bait. I'm like, stop even worrying about the drag queen brunch. It's don't even. It's like when people make trans issues about like they want to talk about the sports solely, and I'm like, who gives a fuck about that? That's nothing compared to the larger conversation. But it was just scary. I was surprised that this friend said that to me.
Well, also on the trans stuff of it all, especially with like middle America guys who I grew up around, I'm like, you guys do gender affirming stuff every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day.
I do bald spray.
But we all have our stuff that makes us feel better. But also these guys specifically all have like, they will call their best friend of 40 years Moose exclusively because he wore antlers to a party once 30 years ago. And they're like, that's Moose. And I'm like, Moose is trans. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, as far as I'm concerned, that's the exact same thing.
He's literally doing the one like, I identify as a moose. So
it's like, it's like you guys do this shit all the time, but you won't do it for somebody who genuinely is like a transgender, like a different gender. Why? What does it matter?
We saw there was something on the Babylon Bee. Someone just quote tweeted it, but like their sketch was. It was the Chinese. It was like the army in China, how they're going to beat American soldiers, and the Chinese soldier doing a horrible accent was just like, "You're a he him, you're a he him," and the soldier was like, "Oh," and died. It was the worst thing I'd ever seen in my life. But I was saying like, I want to watch someone watch this, and I want to see them laugh because I don't believe they're going. I think they're doing that. Yeah. The Babylon Bee is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
None of it's amusing.
I'm going to watch this space because if I ever need money in a bad way, I'm going to become a conservative comedian.
If you had a podcast on the Daily Wire.
I want to talk about Roseanne because you had a great tweet recently about kind of like the situation of Roseanne. I felt like it summed up perfectly how I felt because Roseanne was that TV show was the original, the first few seasons, so fucking good, so unlike anything else. These episodes are like little plays where they showed poor people in a real meaningful way, and they were horny. Some of the earlier episodes of Dan and Roseanne, they are so fucking horny for each other. These two fat people. Mm-hmm. It's like you watch it and you're like, this has still not been seen again. Like these two fat fucking people who want to fuck each other and they have no money and they're real. And so, but I loved your take on like just how that kind of radical contrarianism becomes a thing that the person seeks rather than actual.
Yeah, you get obsessed with the validation of it.
Yeah.
Like that show, the original Roseanne they had black friends who were talking about their relationship to the police being different than their white friends. They had queer characters who were like poked fun at, but like loved and taken care of. Then an episode, I remember watching when I was a kid, an episode of Roseanne where a politician came to the door, like knocked on the door and was like, I'm out looking for your vote. And Roseanne was like, that's funny. We can't really make ends meet this month. And he was like, well, I'm sorry to hear that. And I'm going to go talk to other people, but we'll get to work on that. And she was like, I'm going to come with you because we all can't make ends meet actually. And it was like this, like, it was a lot funnier. Obviously I'm butchering the joke of it, but it was like this like very real, like kind of criticism of politicians coming and asking for the vote from a bunch of people who have nothing, which is obviously still going on. And I think at the time those were all like very inventive ideas. And then you get addicted. Somebody like Roseanne gets addicted to being the person with the fresh take.
Yeah.
And so when the fresh take becomes transphobia, you're right there ready to have it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it turns you into this fucking nightmare person who's doing the special. She just put out the clip that we all saw.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like, my pronouns are kiss my ass.
Yeah.
And what's really funny about that little clip is I watched it. Of course, we always watch the bad comics. Of course. Because we want to know. And she had part of that bit was she was like, they want to know what a woman is. They don't know what a woman is. I'll tell you what a woman is. It's me. A woman is someone who cleans up everybody else's shit. And I'm like, the interesting thing about that bit is you yourself are recognizing that there's more to womanhood, as we understand it, than chromosomes.
Yeah.
That there is a gendered conception of what it means to be a woman in the world, and your experience of it is that you clean up everybody else's shit, and that you have to do it because you're a woman. It's on the road to understanding that someone can be a woman without being born the chromosomal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a more layered understanding of womanhood than you're purporting to have, but your politics are clouding that.
But I also think at this level, it's so hard to understand what her real politics are because she's basically, it's very limited where she can make the kind of money that she might want to be making at this point. So it's hard to know what's pandering and what's real. Right. All of those people, I'm like, especially if they've been in show business for a long time, I'm like, really? You don't have 100 gay friends along the way?
Right.
Like, I don't know what to believe of any of them. I don't know if she's... I just don't know if it's all a game or all an act. Or she's Fox is going to pay me. I bet Fox paid her, $3 million, $5 million for like the special on the Fox streaming service platform. Yeah. She's not getting that anywhere else.
That's interesting, but full disclosure, you should tell your fans, you open for her a lot on the road.
I don't post about it. I just say I'm going to be at this club and you don't know who it's for.
Yeah. Then you get paid a lot to pose these sort of hypothetical questions. Maybe she's left of Bernie.
Maybe she...
We don't know because the money.
We don't know because
and she has to feed her family.
To say?
It's an act. It's a character. She's working on the inside. I know a couple comedians that open for problematic people, and they just post, I'm going to be at this club this weekend. And you're like, are you headlining?
Who's there?
Who's there?
Who's closing the show? Who's doing an hour after you?
Who are you hanging out with?
And how many accusations are there for that person?
Yeah, I feel very lucky that I don't. My career went in a way that I never had to do that because I would do it. You know what I mean? Like I understand.
You say
people
that,
who
Caleb,
do it.
and you said this on the last time we did the podcast, and I don't buy it.
That I would what?
That you would make a hard pivot against your own values. I think unfortunately you're very tied to your values. You're full of shit.
Do you think I'm morally upstanding?
Do you
think I'm above it?
I think you are.
You've walked right into my little trap. No, I mean I don't know. I just say shit. You shouldn't put this out. Who knows? I don't know if I mean any of this. Maybe I wouldn't. You're right.
No, I remember the last episode. You're like, can you not make this the clip? I'm like, okay.
What was the clip? What was I talking
about? It was you went. I still actually do want to post it. But I didn't want to bother you with it. But it was you talking about people who work at ad agencies, and you tore.
Oh yeah.
You tore into them as human scum, basically.
No, not human scum. That's how you guys talk about your fans.
No.
When the mics are off.
When this episode comes out, our Patreon goes down by 50 people.
God, no.
I'm kidding.
Next time we go to Houston, there's more protesters than at the show.
We might get some of the heat off the drag queens in Texas if we can get you guys to keep going back.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, advertising, I did have a particularly tough experience with a lot of what I view to be failed creatives. Mm-hmm. But, we don't need to rehash it.
Yeah. No, it was great. Check it out. The episode is on the YouTube. Speaking of which, if you want to hear this live episode with the fan who wants to exterminate all British people, join the Patreon, patreon.com/downside. For bonus episodes, live episodes, and my clean stand-up special that I'm not releasing. I did want to play. We had a new Night Terror from Tova. I sometimes like to play Tova's Night Terrors, and because I got to get something out of this. I don't sleep.
I don't. It really unnerves me.
Here we go.
Wait a minute. Gianmarco. What the fucking shit?
Okay, so this was 3 a.m. This was before the early flight to Houston, but then it...
You made me blind?
So then she went and slept in the living room for 40 minutes. When she says you made me blind, it's because it's her glasses. She always says like, I'm blind. And she accuses me of hiding her glasses, even though they're at the nightstand. And we realized this because when she was mugged, where the night terror started, she told me this later, and I put it together like Freud for her. One of her contacts fell out because she chased the mugger, got her phone back, and her contact fell out. And when she told me that, I was like, oh, that's why you're always saying I'm blind. But we've put two glasses on the nightstand sometimes. I've tried a method where before she goes to sleep, I say, can we try talking to yourself, talking to your subconscious that you can see, and your glasses are there, but they're getting worse.
You dating my manager is one of the worst things that's ever happened to me. Because I just have so much more access than I ever wanted to stuff about her life. Like,
Sure.
I don't think I'd have the recordings. I don't think I
don't know what sounds my manager makes when he sleeps, to be fair.
No, and like there's also she's also a friend of mine. Like you're on Twitter being like, when my girlfriend blows me, it's just like it's a really intense thing to see that and then get on a meeting and talk about business. You know what I mean? To be like, my girlfriend throws it back like an all-star on my timeline and then get on a call with this individual is like, obviously it's weird. And the recordings, I mean, it's just a strange place for me to be in.
Yeah. No,
and I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Well, you went the other way around. You
I went the
knew
other
her
way
first.
around. I knew, yeah. But
And I'm the one who brought her to Titanic. Let's not forget that.
That's true.
She wasn't going to Titanic on her own.
That's true.
I said, I got to see Russell. And she said, please, do we have to go? I said, go to this show.
How's the show going, Russell?
Show's going well. You know,
What are you doing?
Extended. I play a role. I inhabit a role. I'm a performer.
What's the outfit you wear?
Pants and slacks and a blouse.
Blouse.
Yeah.
How long is the run? I don't actually know.
Through September right now.
Cool.
It's gonna extend. It's going on. You're gonna be in this for decades.
No. I think September. I think I have. It's just hard to. It's 8 shows a week. It's just like it's a grind.
I want to see you play the Celine Dion character.
No.
I'm gonna come see it. I'm due for a New York theater trip. I need to come see that and Parade, and like 2 other shows that people are sprinkled into. And I'm gonna come. I want to come see Titanic.
I should give a shout out because they gave me free tickets. I saw Shucked, the musical about corn. It's about corn. I went with Tova. She was not a fan. It's tough seeing musicals with Tova.
They gave you free tickets. They gave you free tickets.
You gotta cut that out. You gotta cut that out.
That's not a plug. They gave you free tickets.
I know, but let me keep going. I enjoyed it. My girlfriend did not.
You can't give fair and balanced commentary on the free stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for the tickets. My girlfriend had a horrible time.
It's just
no, but
sad.
like, it's very hard. Tova is not a musical person, and when it's like corny, and I'm not trying to make a pun here because it is about corn, and they did a lot of corn puns. Everyone you can imagine they did. But like Tova gets in a space sometimes where the moment they start singing, she's like,
I'm with her.
a song.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but that's the art form that we came to see. It's going to a poetry slam and going, was that a rhyme?
Okay, I haven't seen Shucked.
Going to a haiku saying, let me guess, 575. Yeah.
I haven't seen Shucked, but what I have a problem with Shucked is I hate the get shucked. Like I hate
Someone hands you pins and lines and they go, get shocked.
Like when
go
it's
shuck yourself.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. I hate.
I don't like when people are cute with me.
I hate it.
Don't be cute with me.
Hate it.
I hate especially
you're like we're a family, and you're implying fuck.
I hate
just fuck.
I hate cute with profanity because I'm like I saw a man masturbate on the subway right here. You can say fucked.
Fucked, yeah.
I just had a fucked up experience.
Get
Just
fucked
say
with
fucked.
a corn stalk.
Yeah. I just don't be cute with me. I've got a lot going on. There's a lot of things going on. I've got like emails to respond to.
Yeah.
I can't have you doing like a get shocked. Like I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, with a pin.
I'm gonna shuck and kill you.
We should stop recording.
Well, let's because Russ, you have to go. So let's go on toward. This has got to stop. Is this the right button, please? Nope.
This has got to
This has
stop.
got to stop. Do you have a this has got to stop?
Yeah. Okay. So sometimes I don't know if this happens. Airplanes, they're not made for fat people. But I will say what I don't like. Sometimes I always pick I always pick in seat by the window, right? I'm not going to sit in the middle. But sometimes there's another fat person that sits in the middle, but they probably don't identify as fat. Like I identify as fat. And they kind of look like at me like I'm the problem. And I'm like, we're both doing it, baby.
It's both. It's Shamu and Godzilla, honey.
Yeah.
We're both in this.
We're both in it. And sometimes there's a fat person who doesn't think of themselves as fat. It's usually an older woman. And she's like kind of being like, so on the way out here, kind of like, and I'm like this. And I'm really trying to make it work, and I'm like, there's no accountability. She's taking no accountability for contributing here. We're both doing it together. It's fine. Like, let's just like lean.
What does
into
accountability
it,
look like?
It doesn't look at me.
I also identify.
I don't know how we're like, it's this kind of like, how are we gonna like this feeling of like,
Can you imagine if she put on the whale and started looking at you?
But it was like she was fat too, and I was just like, come on, like you're fat too. Like I wanted to be like, you're fat. We're fat together. It's fine. It's not comfortable for any of us on this thing. You would have had to have someone skinnier than you for her to be comfortable.
You owe me a jolly fat diffusing comment, the way we all do.
I've had that too.
To be like, not the both of us. You have to give me something.
I had a great older black woman one time, and we were like, what are we gonna,
It's a real fucking nightmare on here, isn't it?
But when the food cart comes, you're like, just leave it here.
You're getting too comfortable. We let the whale comment slide. Don't sneak in food cart, Gianmarco. You're doing too much. We were being very generous when you brought up Darren Aronofsky's The Whale. Don't say the food cart stays with us. Stop now, because you're still ahead. Stop.
I like that. So yeah, that's nice.
Gianmarco's like, yeah, and then you get off the plane and maybe you get bariatric surgery. Stop. No one's getting gastric sleeve. Don't do that.
So anyways, I just want, if you're fat, I love you. Let's just be fat together.
Get your fat ass over here by me and be cool.
Yeah, don't look at me like I'm, Anyways,
These airlines, they need to be taken down. We had our last guest. He's 7 foot tall. He has Marfan syndrome, and we're just talking about. I realized they don't have anything on the planes to help anybody for anything.
No.
And these something's. I don't know what has to break. Something has to happen with these airplanes.
Yeah.
For a change to occur. I don't know what it's going to take.
What I want to tell some extremely rich person, some billionaire, is start an airline that does only like major cities, right? So that you can at least take some of your leg. Start an airline that only does like major cities at first, so you can be safe on your investment, right? And make it to where all like Delta first class seats, which are not huge, they're like what we all should be sitting in, and make it the whole plane. And just only do extra baggage fees or whatever you have to do. Mark the prices up a little bit. You will sell out every flight. When you make your money, start expanding and just make a plane where it's literally comfortable for everybody and make it a little more expensive. You'll be able to cover the costs. Don't pay your executives $17 million a month, and you will make so much fucking money. Americans are only getting fatter.
But that's the thing I always think like if upgrading to first class was $100, there's so many times I would have done it by now. But it's usually like $1,000 ticket as opposed to a $200 ticket, and that's And then they just I'm tall. It's gotten worse. It's horrible. Where I always get frustrated. Delta calls it the Comfort Plus chair, and I'm like, how dare you call this comfort? This is like chairs are supposed to be comfortable. Yeah. What happened?
Yeah,
they're greedy. It's all greed. It's horrible. I only fly first class now, and it's so expensive. But I want to avoid that shit of like the number of times a thin person was like legitimately mean to me.
Yeah.
And it used to be that it made me sad, and now I know that I'll fucking snap on them. So I'm like, I just need to be I'm sorry, I need to be with the wealthy people. I do.
Yeah.
Would you snap on someone?
I think at this point I would, because it enrages. What enrages me about it is not that they don't like that I'm fat. I could give a fuck. What enrages me about it is that you're not mad at the people I'm mad at, which is who's making money off of us all being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They're ruining all of our days and lives, and you're looking at me. I mean, this is everything about politics to me.
Yeah.
But this is like, I think if you're to be a CEO, if you're a CEO of an airline, you're making that much money, you should have to be at the airport every day. You should have to come on the plane and face your critics. There's just no way for them to face all the shit that they're doing. I want to see them.
They should have to fly middle seat economy between me and Russell.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like when the mayor of New York talks about the subway and you're like, you haven't taken the subway in 10 years. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They should, as part of their job, as part of the money, as part of being set up for life, take the subway everywhere they go.
I would love that.
Yeah. What's your this is guy stuff?
Where'd my piece of paper go?
Gianmarco's like fat people.
He's
They
like
gotta
British
stop.
people.
I had the thing about Tova. I had the fuck. Do you have this gotta stop?
I do.
You go.
Mine was going to be airplane related, but I'm going to switch because it was this very similar thing. My flight here from Kansas City was a nightmare for fat reasons. But okay, can I do this one? I don't think will be broadly relatable, but it's really on my mind. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Please?
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
Okay. I, unlike you guys, am extremely grateful for my fans, and I have a real appreciation for the people who help me pay my bills in a humble way that you guys can't access. However, there is a. However, they're disgusting little pigs. There's a phenomenon in my life where attractive gay men are matching with me on dating apps to tell me that they're a fan. I will kill not only you, but myself. Stop doing this. If you are a fan of somebody, or if you are also friends, if you're friends with somebody or like mutual friends with, like matching with somebody as a joke that you know is obviously funny and do your thing, but matching with someone on a dating app for a reason that is not dating. Stop. No one wants to. You can buy a ticket to a show. You can DM me on Instagram or Twitter. You can tell a friend to come and see me. Like, there are a million things you can do to show support that are not being hot, matching me with me on Tinder, and then being like, "You're low key so funny. Like, I'll kill you."
Do you think any of them are like, they want to hook up still? They're like, you're so funny. Like, do they make clear like, I'm a big fan? And that's all.
No, there have been times that people have messaged me that they're huge fans, and then also we have ended up hooking up and are going on dates.
Sure.
That I will date a fan, no problem. I think because I know you have great taste. The issue is that a lot of these guys, when I press the issue a little bit further, they're like, "I'm such a fan." I'm like, "Oh, thank you. What are you up to this weekend?" No message back, or literally sometimes not going out with my boyfriend, like on here looking for friends, but that's not in the bio, so I didn't know, so I connected. You know, I'm like,
Yeah, you're wasting my time.
you're wasting my time, and also now I don't like you.
Yeah.
Now I think you suck.
People put that in the bio, just friends? They're looking for friends?
If they do, I don't match because I have friends.
Of course.
The issue is when they don't, and then it comes out in conversation, and I'm like, I don't need friends off the dating app.
You want to know what's even worse? That Tova used to have to deal with when she was on the apps.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
You know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Hi. I'm looking for representation right now.
Homicidal. I would be homicidal.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so bad.
I at least know one in particular. But
Name them.
Brad Pitt. Cancel him for this thing only.
oh man, Brad Pitt. I don't know what the status is with. He made the movie She Said.
He'll be fine.
We had someone who's very publicly.
Nothing's happened to Brad Pitt.
Yeah, he's probably
You know
fine.
what I mean?
He's got a lot of money.
I'm gonna keep looking out for him anyway. I want to make sure. He's a Missouri boy. I want to make sure.
All right, let's go on to our mine.
I was like, no.
This has got to stop. This is truly, it's bugging the shit out of me. People hear my name, and some people, that's their new bit with me, Gianmarco, and I go and I say yeah, and they go, they have nothing. They just want to do that game with me, and I'm like, motherfucker, you're not the first to hear that name and want to sing it to the gods. Don't do this. This is not an interaction.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you, it's only men, and it's a number of guys where every time, Gianmarco, and I go, yeah. And that's it.
You got to stop hanging out with musical theater people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Wait, can I tell you something related? Mm-hmm. Last night, my friend brought her. I'm friends with both of them. My friend brought her very hot straight boyfriend to the gay bar to hang out, and he's cool. I was happy to see him. He's a very sweet guy, and he very earnestly, I'm talking like 10-pack abs, a gorgeous man, very earnestly, after about 45 minutes to an hour being in the bar, turned to me and his girlfriend and said, "Everybody here is so nice." And we were like, yeah. No, because she and I are the two things you're never supposed to be in a gay bar, right? A straight woman and fat. So we're like, of course you're having a great time. He was like, yeah, I didn't have enough cash for my drinks at the bar, and they told me just take them.
That's so funny.
Yeah, he was having like the time of his life, and I'm like, buddy.
Yeah.
Of course, he's like, everyone's touching my back. I was like, yeah, dude, you're a king in here. This is what straight men don't realize. Go in there.
I one time, I think I might have told this before. I one time had a friend who was like, "Can you?" I was looking after a young child in the Upper East Side for like 2 hours.
Okay.
So I was like running errands.
So you took him to a gay bar?
Yeah, I was running errands with this 6-year-old, and people, when they thought I was a father to a young, cute 6-year-old child, were the nicest they'd ever been to me in my life. And it was like this very weird experience like that. We were like, oh, everyone's so much nicer to me and like looking me in the eye, and they're like, oh, look at that dad walking around with his like, and it was just that kind of thing where I was like, oh, people are nicer to me and see me, like where you're like, you don't, usually people ignore you.
Yeah.
And anyways, a similar.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start toting a kid around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Or were you saying stuff like, "Oh, I miss my wife"?
Oh man.
Man.
Seriously, guys, wear your seatbelts. I miss my wife every day.
Or you go to the bar, you're like, 2 beers, one for my wife who passed, unfortunately.
And one for the kid.
All right, final. Are you okay on time?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Okay.
You better count your blessings.
You better count your blessing.
Okay, I know we've poked fun, but genuinely, those people that stayed after the show yesterday, it was very touching to me. I know we were making jokes and stuff, but it was very touching and very sweet and very. It felt nice to know, because you're like, I didn't know if anyone would come to a Houston show. It's just a random place to have a show.
Yeah.
So it was very sweet to have people stay and say such nice things, and that was worth the trip.
Yeah, it was lovely.
I
think there's just this surreal feeling whenever you have fans where they're like, you helped me through this, and
Yes.
you're like, I should have worked harder.
Yes.
I should have done more. I should have prepared more, since this was so meaningful. But it's wonderful. We're very lucky to have you. So thank you for coming out.
Sorry, I just want to make sure. Is this the part where you guys wanted me to say that I made all that stuff up that you said off off mic about your fans? I just want to get the segment right.
For me, again, I'm so thankful that everyone listening joined the patreon.com/downside. But also, being able to do this with Russell, I feel like in a lot of ways, this podcast was a con to make sure I was able to spend time with Russell in my life and go on trips. And so I'm very flattered that you went all the way to Houston for this trip and
so much
got
fun.
up early to come here. So I'm just so lucky to have you a part of this podcast. And he's texting someone. He's not listening to any of this.
Fucking Uber.
That's my blessing. Caleb, do you have a blessing?
Yeah. Well, I want to say old women who call you baby in restaurants or like grocery stores. Like I was just in KC and I was at a barbecue place that I go to a lot, and there was an old woman who called me baby and sweetie within a couple sentences. Mm-hmm. And I just think an old woman calling you baby is just like, oh man, it just makes me feel like I could lift a fucking truck and throw it across the state. Like I just feel so powerful, and I'm grateful for that.
I like that as like a Popeye. Is that what's his name? Popeye with the big arms? Instead of
is his
spinach,
name.
an older woman comes over and whispers sweetie. And he's like, I got it.
Like, here you go, sweetie. Here you go, darling.
I do love that.
Toss a truck.
What would you like to plug, Caleb? This is coming out in like 3 weeks.
Oh, kindness. Treating your neighbor with love and respect. If I have a show, come out. And that's it. Just come see me at a show.
What are your socials?
Oh, I'm Caleb Says Things on everything. And don't follow me. At this point, I'm going to delete them soon. So don't go on the socials.
No, you're not.
I'm going to get off. I'm going to get off unless Gianmarco tells me he wants
here's
me
what
to
this
stay.
has got to stop. Here's what this has got to stop.
Yeah.
TikTok being taken down is bad. It's not a good thing.
It would be incredible. It would be incredible for the country. And Russell's got to get in a car so we can't actually have this out right now.
I can't have it out. I gotta go in 3 minutes.
What's
and then
your
I gotta- just
You can try it
go
off.
to go see Titanic at Russell J Daniels. You know, on Instagram. I don't use Twitter.
But you're on it.
I lurk, but I don't. I don't post them.
You're a deep lurker. I'm going to be at the Moon Tower Comedy Festival this weekend, doing just little spots here and there. Doesn't really matter to me if you come. It doesn't change the money I get. So come to Mic Drop in Arizona, April 28th, 29th, and 30th. And otherwise, join the Patreon. Find me everywhere at Gianmarco Soresi. This is The Downside.
1, 2, 3. Downside. You're listening to The Downside
The Downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.